and the joy, and it was an opportunity for you guys to mingle with one another, meet and greet. And now, when we're starting to transition, it actually looks and sounds very differently. So when you're trying to bring a rest break in Children's Day, you're showing them that we're going to calm our bodies, and this is how we're transitioning. But we're not going to make them do that when they've already been sitting for a long time. We're going to transition after a high energy period. So after gym, recess, or outside. So this is the transitory piece. And so we're bringing the aromatherapy. Even if you wanted to hold the stone, if you need grounding, you can hold the stone. So this can help you to just ground if you've had a little bit of a hectic day. Children can hold the stone, and it can help them to ground. But you might not want to bring it to the circle area because they'll be dropping it and playing with it. So they might just be holding it in their hand, and it's also a great way to help them communicate to you that they had a little bit of a stressful day. So if you see a child who needs a grounding stone, right off the bat, they don't even have to tell you. They're just walking around with it, and they're holding it, and then they can put it down when they're about to start your lesson. So this is a way. They don't even have to say a word, but you know that their energy or something could have happened at home, and they need a little bit of grounding. So it's a beautiful way. So if you guys want, you can come back here and grab a stone if you need a stone. I'm gonna pick a stone because this is my first time being in the US doing this workshop, and I'm not in as much of my peaceful, grounded place. So I'm gonna show you guys that, yeah, I need a little bit of grounding today, and I just want to find my inner calm, and we're gonna ground with gratitude. So as you're holding your stone, you're just going to hold a grateful thing. What are you grateful for today? Deep breath in. Chrissy, if you want to take your breathing ball, you can maybe 3 quick breaths. This is her superpower.
So with one hand on your heart, I'm going to invite you to put your other hand right on your belly button. So we connect our heart brain, our gut brain, and our brain in our head. And we're just going to take 3 breaths, breathing in through our nose and then out through our mouth. To your belly and then out. In. And out. And one more in. And if you want to close your eyes and then ground it back inside, taking 3 more breaths. Continuing to feel that gratitude that you've been focusing on. Breathing in and out. For the last 2 breaths, when we breathe out, let's say shh, like we're telling a baby with love. and we want to welcome Sylvia up.
And Sylvia, maybe we can start with their introductions before your introduction. So you guys have an I am card, so if you can find it, and you're just going to read it, so I'll start. And I always like to be the example so that children know exactly what I'm expecting. I don't assume anything of them. So I am Tammy Valyers, and I am a visionary. I am clear about who I am and where I am going. And that is true. And who's next?
Should I go next?
Yeah, perfect.
What was it again?
You just say your name?
Oh, hi, my name is Catalina Casillas and I am powerful. I can do anything I choose to be.
Awesome. You know what we're gonna add? Is we're gonna add our title. So I am the Hero Intelligence teacher, and I'm a master teacher. And who are you? What's your title?
Well, I have a few titles. Which one should I use?
Whatever you want to use, right?
What do you identify with the most?
Well, I'm an aunt of 4 nieces and nephews, and then I'm also a local real estate agent.
Awesome. Welcome.
Awesome.
Who's next?
Go.
I am Lauren. I'm a 5th grade teacher. I am special, and the most important person in my life is me.
Love it. And who's next?
I am Sylvia Cervantes, and I am an infant, early childhood mental health consultant, and I'm a champion, and I have a positive attitude and expectation for greatness.
Yes.
She does.
I can tell. She owned that. Own your I am. Anybody next? What do you feel comfortable? Okay.
My name is Ortega or Ali or Miss Cat. All different names. Can see it all different times. This year I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I'm active. When I do things, I feel alive and free. Yeah, my title. So many. I'm a Thea, assistant director, teacher, all of things.
Awesome. Wonderful.
My name is Desiree Murdoch, and I'm a kindergarten teacher with Allie at the same academy. I'm abundant. Health, wealth, and happiness are always available to me.
Beautiful. Yes, they are.
They were my daughter's summer camp teachers.
Oh, how
Oh,
lovely.
I know, I can see it now.
Synergy. We're all gathering.
Good morning, I'm Gabby De La Cruz. I am a mom of 3 little guys, and I work at a local water district in the communications field, but looking to possibly explore, my kids go to Montessori, but looking to eventually dive into homeschooling.
Yay. We hope so.
And then you want to read your.
Oh yes, I forgot my card. I am friendly. I attract others with my positive thoughts and words.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Okay. Barbara, you're up.
I am Barbara Tamori, and I'm a whole body wellness coach and an educator. And action is more powerful than fear. I love that.
Wow,
I
that's
am,
like yours.
I am courageous.
Yes,
Woo!
you are.
I
Love it.
Okay, just.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm conscientious. I always do what I know is right. One title is a program specialist at my school district. I run the therapy program. I'm a mom, I'm a sister.
Also, I'm a mompreneur, so you'll see some kangaroo-looking animals in your little magic morning bag. That's my product. And I also work here with Chrissy and Tammy, doing a lot on education for kids.
Awesome. Okay, mine is I'm unique. The world is a better place because of me. And I'm a holistic health and mindfulness educator. And I just believe that our children deserve to be healthy, right? And that we're gathered here to empower ourselves so we can hold a space for those children to thrive and to see their lives.
Listen of the energy and the people that have come together, and because we are all of this, we've attracted all of each other into our lives. So feel honored. I feel honored to be in all of your presence, so I'm very grateful.
We were really excited. Well, okay, I know you all, right? Tammy's coming from Canada, right? But I was like, the people that are coming to this event.
Yes. She was ranting and
are
raving.
I'm just very welcome you, and we're so excited that you're here and that we can collaborate together.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stand in our courage and our superhero power, and I'm gonna get you all to just own your I am. And so whatever pose you wanna do, if you wanna do this pose, you wanna do this pose, whatever your superpower pose is. This pose.
I've never thought about a superpower.
That's why you're here.
That's why you're here. How do I create it? Where does that come from?
How does your body gonna move?
Right now, it could be
Right?
like this, it could be like
Right?
this. Step into a power pose, because
You know?
you are all powerful beings, and
Power pose.
part of it is understanding and aware of that. So right now,
You know, you can be just, shoulders back, right? Arms out, whatever feels good to you.
perfect.
There you go.
There it is. And then do one more. And then do one more. And then say, I am a hero.
I am a hero.
The world needs your hero. The world needs your hero, everyone. Okay.
Thank you, Tammy and Chrissy.
I've already learned something. I now have a power pose.
Yes, you do.
To more than one.
And changes every day, right?
Yeah.
So before Sylvia starts, I'm going to show you, I always transition with a bell. I don't leave anywhere without it. So what I do is be still, and everybody knows that it's time for stillness and silence. So that's one of my transitions. So then she can own that stage, and we are honoring her with respect.
I feel like I'm in heaven right now.
You are.
Don't get that much at home anymore. It's always talk. So I guess what I'm really here to do is to let you know that the reason why this event is here is because I personally would dream to have Christy and Tammy as my teacher. I think if all kids grew up in schools and being able to experience the magic that these two amazing superhero teachers taught children, they would be so resilient, so confident, and it would really take away a lot of the stresses in our lives. And so with that, I want to just share with you a little bit about what we're doing today. You can see it's jam-packed. So as the timekeeper today, I'm going to be a little bit like, okay, guys, okay? So don't mind me, I'm just trying to make sure we get everything into our day. We're going to talk about emotions and energy. We're going to talk about the way and the why of why you're even here. Maggie Monkey is going to be someone you're going to leave with. It's going to be like, what did you learn today, Mom? I learned about Maggie Monkey. So you'll have to explain to them who is Maggie Monkey. Maggie Monkey will be talked about with Tammy. Chrissy will also talk about Maggie Monkey, but more from an energy perspective. Then this is my favorite part, is creating your own compass card. We're going to talk about animals. You see lots of animals. But did you know that all of us have one animal that connects to us most deeply? And we're going to help you bring on that animal today. So that's going to be very exciting on the third hour. And then we're going to recap with a lot of the facts and fictions that you'll be going through. We'll be weeding it in because Tammy's all about the fiction and storytelling and all of that. Christy has so much information that are facts that you can go back and explain. So after you get their interest, then you give them the facts. So that's why these two work hand in hand.
We're the yin and yang.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of give you a brief, we did have a lot written here, but I'm just gonna skim through the most important parts, right? To make sure we get everything. So one of the things that was really discovered in just working with educators and just a lot of downloads that I know Tammy always gets downloads is the magic secret is to everything about chaos. Is first we have to learn to know thy hero self, which is what we already started talking about. And it's also about making sure that we give them that space, that safe space, in order for them to feel that it's okay to shine who they are. And because a lot of times we're following curriculums, I think that's very important to bring that in right from the start. Just like how Chrissy said, it only takes a few minutes to just calm the body and able to allow them to be able to align with their interests, their backgrounds, with what they're learning in school. What we're doing today is providing you with a framework that you can apply when you're teaching, when you're at home, wherever you're with children, or even for yourself. So it's a framework that you can customize to what you believe. Now we're going to be bringing out a lot of our own unique values. So if there's something that doesn't really jive, no worries, right? But if it's something that you feel like you can resonate with, please go ahead and make that something your own. So we're gonna be open, open with each other, respect each other. And the most important quote of the day that we're gonna start with is, give a child a fish, eat for a day. Teach a child how to fish, and they can eat for a lifetime. And we changed that a little bit by putting in the word kid in there, but I would love for us to think about that and think about how we can use today's content to be able to provide them with those tools. So I'm gonna get started by talking about anyone here know the hero's journey? Anyone familiar with that?
But with Lori Tell? Is it that?
Joseph Campbell.
Oh, no, then it's a different one.
Yeah, so I
I
always
would probably refer to
Yeah.
Joseph Campbell, who was
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's funny how a lot of times we watch these superheroes and we either love them or we're like, okay, there's no big deal, it's just a superhero. But I've learned through the process of working with all the educators is that we're actually physically living those lives of superheroes. They just glamorize it on the Hollywood cameras, but we are all going through the same journey. From call to action, to having a problem, to having to solve it, to face it, the struggles. It's a full 8-step process, which, I could explain later, but I think it's better to put it onto our main speakers today. But I want you to think about that, and maybe afterwards we'll send you a link to that video, and think about how your life is going through that same thing. And I know I personally experienced my daughter going through it recently, and what a change, the struggle, the tears, and now she's a completely different person. So the struggles are real, but the reality is we all need to go through it. And so with that being said, I'm going to talk about the why and the way. So the way here is that we're using a system called STAR. So everyone here knows what STEM stands for, right? So we talk about STAR. So STAR,
say STEM.
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, right? Or STEAM, right? So here's a new way to think of it, STAR. It talks about the personal growth and development side of schools, where we help children develop their inner self, bring that out. It's not just about what's outside. So we really talk about stories, because stories then will trigger the thinking things from a different perspective, that allows them to become more adaptable to their environment, to their school, new settings, and finally stay resilient, because that's actually ultimately what's gonna keep them be able to go through all their different ups and downs in life. So that's why we use the system called STAR. And we really wanna make sure that all us educators here that are all conscious of personal development and the importance of it, that's why we are here, is to really build that community of all these educators working together, not on our own, but making sure that we are communicating, we are holding hands, even if it's digitally in the world, whatever it takes for us to stay together. Because we can help each other with our tips, our strategies, we're all different. So that's really a big part of helping each of us learn from each other. We have our guides here, Tammy and Christy, but ultimately we're learning from each other. So that's your way and that's our why.
For STAR, can you just repeat that again?
Yeah, I can repeat it.
Yes.
Okay.
So STAR is, if you say the S for stories, S for stories, T for thinking.
T for thinking.
So we teach a story and they digest it, we show all different types of versions of different stories, alternative endings, and it shifts our thinking to not just think one way. Like the Three Little Pigs, most of us think of it in the very traditional way. We're gonna reimagine and rewrite and co-write and author new and upgraded versions. So this is gonna help them with their thinking. A stands for adaptability. You say adaptability?
Adaptability.
Now they can adapt to their surroundings and situations. Just like Sylvia said, I might say something, I'm from Canada, I grew up with different beliefs, maybe different background, religion, language. You don't have to take into mine, I don't have to take yours in. We get to adapt and modify it how we feel comfortable, because we're all coming from different places, and that's what creates a safe space. We're not judging one another, we're aware of what we're comfortable with, and we're not projecting that on one another. So we're all shining brightly, we're all feeling comfortable to be authentically ourselves. So then the last one is our resilient. Stories. You guys want to say resilient?
Resilient.
This allows children and ourselves to be resilient. So when we do this, we adapt, we change our thinking, we're not stuck, and our spirit is meant to feel free, right? We don't want to feel constricted. You put a bird in a cage, what happens? It feels constricted, right? We want to feel free, and so we allow children to be able to move organically and be authentically themselves, so that you can too. So on that note, I know Sylvia is going to try transition to me, but you've been sitting down for a bit. I want you guys to just kind of walk around and just digest what she was thinking. Just give yourself a 1 minute movement. So that, again, with children, they can't sit too long. So we're gonna get you to feel like a child would.
And then if I do, if you have
And just breathing. If you wanna put your stone back, if you wanna grab a snack, we're gonna just grab something right now. And Sylvia's gonna change that. PowerPoint on. Ready? Excuse me.
All right, let's go have everyone come back to our stage. Okay.
So we'll wait for the bell, because we're gonna learn to transition with our bell. I do everything with the bell, so it becomes like Pavlov's dog. They hear it, they know, stillness and silence, and everybody can get ready. I don't have to center a child out, I don't have to say anything, because they all know be still. Can you do it with me? Be still. And it's beautiful to watch a whole class do this. I just start to come up to the front and they're like this one. I don't even say a word. They just do this. And so they become the master teachers and leaders for me. So they prepare the rest of their friends and classmates for me to enter. So it's beautiful.
All right, so we're gonna start with our first session, and our session really is about creating those heaven on earth, right? Those utopiary classrooms that I love to use to say, because I've seen it happen. I know it's just a beautiful learning environment. And so Tammy's gonna go through the first session with us. She's gonna focus a lot of the emotions, give us some really creative activities that can bring that out in children. And we're going to really get into some stories. So I don't know about you guys, but if you listen to these stories, you're gonna start getting motivated to transform and upgrade the stories that we've all heard growing up. Like we don't even need to say it the same way anymore. You just make it up, and even better, have kids make it up with you. And so I'm gonna invite Tammy to the stage to share along, because I can't wait to hear the stories.
Yeah, so perfect. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set the tone. Oh, yeah, okay, so we'll do Christy, and then sorry, you guys know the third hour, and then I'm gonna just go into a visualization. So I'm going to read to you a story that I created. And so I use animals as my inspiration. Sylvia talked to you about how every one of you has an animal guide. And I really want you to hold that true in your soul. I'm just gonna tell you a very quick story. I was very sick, I was very unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. The doctor literally told me that at 44 I'd have no hands and feet if I did not change my life, my ways. I changed everything. And what happened was I had a dove, believe it or not, hit my window on 11/11 at the moment of silence. I was facing my class, and this dove just hit that window. It looked like an angel imprint. I was so choked up. My students were, it was silent. So it was like a bang, like a gunshot. And I'm thinking, it's Remembrance Day. What are the chances a dove of all birds hitting that window at that moment? And that was my beginning, my call to action in calling me into a better version of myself. And that was my big wake-up call. And it transformed everything. You would not recognize who and what I look like to this day. So that journey has taken me 15 years. And I didn't do it overnight. It's a gradual place, but had I not done it, what would have been the alternative? So when Sylvia says the hero's journey is we're all on it, and life is like this. It's highs and lows, it's challenges, it's mentors, it's guides. And when we expect it always to be here, we're always met with disappointment. we're always met with a very heavy heart. So trust that everything happens for a reason. Everything, that dove happened, and it spoke to my spirit. And from that, this whole world of animal school and these animals speaking to me, I went home and I Googled, I researched everything that dove symbolized. And 11 represents the vision, 22 is vision plus action, and 33 offers guidance to the world. And 18 years later, I wrote a book called Awaken Your Inner Hero, co-authored with 50 kid heroes across Canada, ages 5 to 18. I published my first book, Jeffrey Finds His Way, co-authored with another author, about an angel looking down from heaven's gates, seeing children in crisis and the earth in crisis, and our call to action. And now I'm speaking and teaching and training internationally. So that dove hit that window, and I had no clue. And 18 years later, I am living those numbers, those words, and that symbolism of that dove. So trust. I had no clue about this. You would have told me, I would have said it was all heebie-jeebie stuff. And if you're comfortable with that story, it's the truth of mine. And I truly believe that we all have this. And I've done over 100 compass cards, and every person who's done it has been in awe, awestruck. And my testimonials have been so real and so authentic. So I'm like, now I know that this isn't just something that was personal to me. It is personal to all ages, businesses, entrepreneurs. I had one guy from Australia. He was the top of the highest you could get in his credentials. He had every letter behind his name. And he said, you just summarized my entire life in one compass card.
And I know you guys don't know what the compass cards are yet, but you
will.
will.
You're gonna have your very own, and they're going to be inspired by Maggie Monkey, because you're gonna see all the content, all the materials, and all the inspiration of this beautiful little monkey, and how this little monkey was able to transition. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, so if you can start now, we'll get that was a perfect transition. You guys are gonna transition into your yoga mat. I trust everything happens for a reason. If you'll notice, I don't get too rattled about anything. I'm always embracing opportunities. It was like a sacred moment. So that was a perfect transition. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna play this, okay. So I'm going to read you, we won't do this meditation, but we will give it in the link. How about that? So this is a visualization that you guys can do at home for your homework. I'm going to read to you how this vision, remember I said vision 11 represents the vision, 22 vision plus action, 33 offers guidance to the world, and here I am offering guidance on how we can be and raise little heroes, be our heroes, so heroes for humanity, right? The world needs our hero. The world needs our hero in our classroom, in our homes, on our planet Earth, to be advocates. So before I do this, because you've been sitting again, before I read this, I want you to just come and stand. You're going to stand like this. So find a spot to stand. You're going to have 3 positions: a top, a right, back, and a left. So it's kind of like a dance. You're going to go top, right, or left, and then right. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to stand in your victim, okay? So this is, how have you been a victim? Because we have all of them, all 3. We have our id, ego, super ego, but I use it in hero terms. We have our victim. How have we, played that victim role? I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I need help, right? And we are the victims, right? And feel that. I want you to put your hand on your gut and heart. What does that feel like when we feel helpless? Because when we feel helpless, we don't have hope. And we have to count on everyone for us. So just feel that. That feels heavy, right? Now I want you to go into the the villain. So this is how we're kind of like the bully, where we maybe littered, or over here, we haven't been helping the environment. We're not doing anything in our part. I can't do it. I'm just one person. Here, we're like tossing litter on the ground, or we're cutting things down that we shouldn't be, or we know we're not recycling and reducing, and we're actually causing harm to the environment. Or we've said something rude or nasty to someone, we've kind of dominated them. We all have done it, right? We all have had that part. You might have a dominant side, you might be more of the victim or more of the villain, where you're a little bit more aggressive. We're not judging each other right now or ourselves. We're just aware how we have been in this role at times in our life, because we've all done it. So now I want you to put your hand on your heart and think about when you have been the villain. A little bit of a bully, a little bit aggressive, reactive, angry, quick to temper. And how does that feel?
Not good.
Right. And you might be, I was more of the victim than I was the bully in my own demeanor. So now I've learned to step into my hero. When that dove hit my window, it was, I'm stepping away from my victim and I'm gonna step into my hero. So now I feel like I can make a difference. My voice matters. I have a superpower and a super strength. I want you to think about right here, right now, what's your superpower? Can you name it like that?
And you may have many of them.
Right, but I want you to think of one superpower. Think about a fish. If you can name a fish's superpower, it's what? Swimming, right? A bird? Flying. A squirrel? Climbing. What is something you do really well? Again, you're not judging. If you don't know what it is, don't blame yourself, blame the school system. I'm going to tell you that. Because that was their job to help you discover your strengths and superpowers. And this is what we're now going to do for children. They're going to know their superpower after being with you. All of you are going to help them know that. So just stand there. And now you think, I can make a difference. I want you to say, I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am courageous.
I am courageous.
I am calm.
I am calm.
But I can be fierce.
But I can be fierce.
Right. And now I want you to stand in your hero pose. Take a deep breath. Okay. Now you're going to sit down. You could sit down on the cart or on the floor or in your chair. And I'm going to read to you Tiger Lily's heroic adventure. So now it's story time.
So if you feel like you want your mat, you can grab it. Right? And if you feel more comfortable on the floor, do that.
Yeah, and if you're going to grab a mat, just come here.
And circle time.
I'm going to get you guys to close your eyes. And this is an opportunity, instead of doing the visualization with the meditation, I'm going to get you to do the visualization as I read the story. So I'm going to ask you to have no distractions, because if you are moving and fidgeting, I say to my kids, I can't read my best because I'm dyslexic, and I'm very honest about being dyslexic, and it's the gift of. I take in a lot of energy and sound, so I'm very sensitive to sound. So if you can support me in this, I'll be able to read my best. So it's a two-way street, right? Okay, so close your eyes, take a deep breath, and we're going to take on the title, Tiger Lily's Heroic Adventure. In the heart of the forest, where leaves whispered secrets to one another and sunlight danced through the trees, lived a courageous young girl named Tiger Lily. Her spirit was as wild and as free as the creatures that roamed the woods. Her heart beat in sync with the rhythm of nature. Tiger Lily was of Métis indigenous descent, and her connection to the land ran deep in her veins. One moonlight night, as she lay beneath a blanket of stars, a dream visited Tiger Lily. It was a dream woven with threads of urgency and hope, a dream where the voice of Mother Earth herself reached out to her. In this dream, Mother Earth appeared as a radiant figure, her eyes reflecting the beauty and the pain of the world. Dear Tiger Lily, she spoke, her voice a melody that echoed through Tiger Lily's soul. I am in need of your light and courage. My lands and waters are ailing, and I call upon you, a guardian of nature, to be a beacon of change. Tiger Lily awoke with a sense of purpose burning within her heart. She knew that her dream was more than a fleeting vision. It was a call to action. Guided by the wisdom of her ancestors and the echoes of her dream, she embarked on a journey through the forest. As Tiger Lily walked, animals of all kinds emerged from the shadows to accompany her. Birds perched on branches, their songs guiding her path. Deer and rabbits walked beside her, their presence a testament to her connection to the land. Wolves and bears followed in the distance, protectors of her journey. Through the babbling brooks and the rustling leaves, Tiger Lily made her way to the heart of the forest. Here, where the trees formed a canopy of wisdom, she found herself standing before a classroom where young animals gathered. This was a sanctuary of Maggie Monkey and her students. With her heart full of purpose, Tiger Lily entered the classroom. Her eyes met Maggie's, and in that moment, they understood that destiny had brought them together. Tiger Lily spoke of her dream, of Mother Earth's plea to help, and of the urgent need to heal the land and waters. The children, the animals, listened with wide-eyed wonder, their hearts resonating with Tiger Lily's words. They knew that they held the power to be the change Mother Earth needed. They saw the connection between their actions and the well-being of the planet. Tiger Lily and Maggie joined hands, their spirits united by a shared purpose. Together, they wove a tapestry of action and hope, a journey that would take them beyond the forest's embrace. With the support of the animal students, they embarked on a mission to transform the ocean world, the mountain world, and the meadows. And so, under the guidance of Mother Earth's dream, Tiger Lily and the young heroes of Maggie's classroom set forth on a path of healing and transformation. Their journey would be one of challenges and triumphs, of learning and growing. And as they worked hand in hand to create a world of clean waters, pristine lands, and pure air, united by love, courage, and the ancestral wisdom that flowed through their veins, they carried the torch of change into the world, igniting a spark of hope that would light up the future. Through their actions, they would honor the call of Mother Earth, safeguarding the planet for generations to come. And so, with each step they took, with each decision they made, Tiger Lily and her companions journeyed onward, writing a new chapter in the story of our world, a chapter of unity, healing, and spirit, of a young girl who listened to the voice of her dream and became the change the world needed. All right, so,
Can I add one thing?
yes.
So when you hear that, how many of you can raise your hand or not, does that story resonate with you? And you feel yourself as Tiger Lily? And you feel like you've been called for something more? And does that call feel kind of urgent? Raise your hand if you feel like that call's urgent. Okay? So we are at a time, for those of you that are familiar with Dr. Zach Bush, who's familiar with Dr. Zach Bush, right? And if you aren't, I will introduce you to his work. But he said the most important, that we are in our sixth extinction. That human life, we have about 60 years left, unless we reconnect to each other and reconnect. And he said these children that have been born, these souls that have come in this time, are our leaders, right? And he said we have about 10 years to turn everything around, and we can do it. But our call is urgent, right? And many people, when they hear that, they want to just go back to their daily life and imagine they didn't hear it. But I don't think any of us in the room can do that. How many of you have small children? And you want a healthy world for your children? How many of you work with children? Right? And you believe that they are here for transformation and you want to see them have a healthy world. Right? That's our call. And exactly what has been downloaded to Tammy is a way to empower children to adult men, but there's nothing I've seen before that engages children to care for each other and the earth than what Tammy's created.
That's why we're such beautiful partnership with Christy and I, because she is working with the adult and more mature, older content, and I'm bringing the animals in with her content. so we can reach kindergarten. So we can start this prevention versus corrective measures. When you teach children at the youngest of ages, it becomes habitual, and it just becomes the essence of who they are and who they believe themselves to be. What we think about, feel about, we bring about, and we also bring forth in the world. So the younger we start, which is why this is called Kindergarten Masterclass, and everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten, we start at that point, and then we reference out. So that was beautiful, guys. Thank you. That was amazing. Chris, thank you. So we're going to, right now, I'm gonna get you to, I'm gonna do a foundation exercise. This is a foundation exercise. So I'm gonna get you to come on the floor here. We'll just do this really quick together.
So you want to be on that?
Everybody just wanna come over here. We'll do this.
Okay.
It's like a little experiment. Follow me. Follow the leader here. So if you need to, I'm just gonna get on my knees. If you wanna get on your mat, just do a little demonstration, yeah. So this is a foundation exercise, and this is something you can do with your kids. So everything we're giving you, that version of Tiger Lily, you obviously wouldn't read that to kindergartens, but you would give them the short version. Or you would scaffold it, like cliffhanger. You would read the first part in the first week and do little things to support it. Then the second part, the next week, and bring it forth. And you guys are all gonna get those stories, and you're all gonna get those lesson plans. We're gonna have that for you. So here's what happened with me in kindergarten, or when I first started teaching. I'm really good, as I said, I'm dyslexic, I have the gift of dyslexia. You can see the big picture. When I graduated out of Teachers College, I was trying to organize what's everything I have to do, and it was big, but it was really important to me that I targeted everything, and I didn't miss anything. Think about a builder. If you miss a pillar, your building's not gonna be very solid or strong. So if you can see here, and Sylvia, maybe if you can get my little booklet. So you can see everything is in here that we need, right? At this point. But if we forget an important piece, okay? I'm gonna put the important pieces, I'm gonna pull out important pieces. So what do you think are the fundamentals of teaching? If you had to name a fundamental, could you name them just like that? Right? You know what, a builder would tell you exactly what the fundamentals are of building a structure. All of us probably have very different fundamentals. We come from different places. It's like you could name a doctor's toolkit. What's inside his toolkit? What's the first thing everybody knows to put in the doctor's toolkit? Right, we all would say it. A builder, you would have what? His hammer. A dentist, you would have his teeth cleaner. A hairdresser, you would have her brush. But if we said teachers, what's one thing, we would have probably every different answer, right? We don't know, we don't have a standardized toolkit for teachers. And I'm like, why? Why do we have it for a plumber? What would I, so when I say what's the one, exactly, if our, like a wrench, right? But if I said what, and I mean, put it as a test, how many of you guys would come up with the same answer? How many do you think would come up with the same answer? We aren't taught what the tools are for a teacher for success.
I mean, I just think a whistle, like.
Exactly, and that's not even, like, so what would yours be? A book?
I'm thinking of the end result, so not even a tool, I'm just thinking, what's the end goal?
Right, good. What's your answer?
I was thinking classroom management.
Right.
I was gonna say a stuffed animal.
A stuffed animal, a pen, curriculum,
Pencil.
yeah. Patience, oh good. Paper, a marker,
I was thinking pen or
yeah. Sylvia?
a pencil too.
Yeah, so again, but we're all over the map, and it wasn't easy as it was for every other subject, right? It was easy to talk about an animal's superpower, but when I asked you yours, you didn't know yours very easily as much as the animal. So here's where I'm thinking, we're missing the mark in education. We don't know what our tools are, and we're the teachers, teaching all professions, and we don't know what our superpowers are. I ask adults and teachers all the time, what's your superpower? Go in headlights. If we don't know what our superpower is, how can we pull that out of children? We're very critical. If I said to you, what's your biggest weakness? Oh, but we don't know our strengths, so this is what I'm saying.
And
So
can we pause a second?
Yeah.
When we did the superpower, what was that experience like for you? Was it easy to go, oh, this is my superpower? Or are some of you still thinking,
Let's name them right now. What was your superpower?
Seeing people.
Seeing people.
Action.
Action.
Perseverance.
Just thinking communication.
Compassion.
Communicating with photos.
I'm intuitive and a gift of gab.
Okay, you guys are super already. No wonder you kids here. You know your superpowers. Usually they're like doing the headlights. I have no clue of my superpowers, so I'm really proud of you guys. So here's what we're gonna do. A lot of times we fill in the details, right? So I'm gonna try not to make a mess. These are all the details. We have all these details in place. And then, watch what's gonna happen. So here's our fundamentals. So here's one of them, empathy, right? When we can empathize, we build compassion and we create unity, right? So here's one of them, respect. When we respect each other's differences, this is how we can all work in collaboration. Curiosity. I wonder why I didn't get on that flight. I wonder why I was stopped at the border and I wasn't able. I wonder why that dove hit my window. Curiosity. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. We go into a bigger point of perspective. Next, creativity. Oh, I don't like the story of the three little pigs and how the wolf is always projected as bad. Because we're now, how are we treating wolves? Think about the park. International Yellowknife Park, right?
Yeah.
Where when they took the wolves away, they popularized with deer, and it totally destroyed all of the green and natural ecosystem. When they brought the wolves back, it created the ecosystem and balance. So when we teach children that wolves are mean and bad, then what are we doing? And how are they treating those animals? And how do we treat them as a society? Insects, bees, ants, we make them bad. We need those insects. We couldn't survive on the planet without it. So if we don't take care of it, pesticide killer, all of those things, what are we doing? So curiosity, right? Confidence, right? When every little person in your classroom is confident, they are all supporting and helping one another. If everybody's the victim, you gotta babysit how many children? When everybody's the hero in my classroom, I have 26 little master teachers. Confidence. Inclusivity, right? Everybody's authentic and everybody is welcome in our classroom, whatever your differences are. So again, we're putting more details.
So what would the details be?
The details are like, oh, my bulletin boards need to get done. Oh, I need to get all my report cards all filed. Oh, I need to do all of these very important details, but they're still details, okay? So then, mindfulness, cooperation, gratitude, when we're grateful and we're in a grateful place, then we're not in lack. So when we're grateful, we're in our hero. When we're not grateful, we're in our victim and villain. You did this to me, right? I'm gonna get back at you. So now we create this energy. The hero mind is you are grateful for the 1%. If there's one thing to be grateful for, you find that 1%. 99, because here's the alternative. If you are the victim or the villain, you will find the 1%, even if 99% is going right, or you have 99%, you will be in the victim or villain, what's missing. So imagine having everything that you want, 99%, and you're still in lack, or you're still angry. How much suffering are you going through? But if you're the hero mind, and you only have one, but you're so grateful for that one, doesn't matter how much or how little you have, you are in gratitude. Gratitude is the most beautiful, the most healthy, the most well-adjusted person on the planet. So you can be grateful, right? You don't have that in your classroom. So here's now the really important ones: respect, creativity, confidence, right? Inclusivity, resilience, right? And what's happening? Are we able to get them in? No, we can't get them in, but we got all of the little details. We got everybody's erasers, we got everybody's stickers, all those things are in here. We got everybody's tutu, right? But we don't have this stuff. So it's like, oh no, I forgot about those things. And you start teaching and you don't have classroom management and you don't have your philosophy, you don't know your direction, you don't have your agreements, you don't have your beaver boundaries, you don't have your community, and you don't have your star power. What do you have? You're gonna have a hot mess.
Chaos.
And that chaos is gonna lead because now they're all teaching each other how to even be more chaotic. Not how to teach each other to be their hero, but how to be the victim and the villain. And then this just plays on each other all day long, and everybody's exhausted, including the teacher. And we have burnout, and then the straw on the camel's back, we snap, and the kids snap, and so we think it's all day long. They are running, and then we need a rest break, because their central nervous system cannot handle that much stimulation. So what we did is we created a calm environment for a 15-minute balance block. A rest break, they're not getting naps, right? They come to school, they're getting all this stimulation. They usually 1 or 2 kids at home. Now they're 25 children. We expect them to just know how to play with each other. But we don't teach them how to play with each other. We don't teach them this stuff. But we assess them on it, right? Oh, you are not very good at cooperation. And you are not very good at independent skills.
You talk too much.
Right? You talk too much, right? But we don't teach them, oh, stillness and silence is our superpower.
Yeah.
Why? I say to my students, do you want to know why it's our superpower? Yes, I change my voice. It's because that's how we access our star power. And Maggie Monkey, she loved to move her body because she's a monkey, and she always got in trouble, was always reprimanded, and what happened? Oh my goodness, when Maggie Monkey would move all the time, she didn't know how, and she would be in trouble, and she wasn't safety smart, and everybody was scared because she was hanging from the lights and the electrics. And Grizzly, he didn't know how to talk nice like Miss Valiers, and she didn't know how to be still. But little mouse, mighty mouse, helped her one-on-one, find her calm, right? And the Mickey Monkey thought, I want to come back to animal school one day and be the best teacher I can be. And so what she did is she made a balance of movement and mindfulness, movement and meditation, movement and music, right? So she had a nice rhythm, so she allowed and accounted for differences. So now, it's not just movement that's more important than meditation. They're both important, they both help our brain. So we have to help children understand that silence and stillness is a superpower, but so is moving and music because it helps our brain. So if you notice, I'm always transitioning you to stop. I'm not making it talking there for 3 hours, and you guys are listening there as passive listeners. We're engaging you, we're inviting you, right? We're talking to you. Christy's interjecting with her wisdom, and we're a team. So this is what we do in collaboration. And so you're not just getting my wisdom and expertise of 25 years of teaching, Christy's wisdom, her expertise, Sylvia's, but you're also getting each other. Because you have, you have, you have, you have, you have. I'm not the keynote speaker. We are a team. The B formation is East Flying. They share leadership. Everybody gets a turn to lead. Everybody. And what they do is working smarter, not harder. They conserve 70% of the energy when everybody gets to rotate in the leader formation. When the teacher has to be the lead all day long, I literally, honest to God, and I'm not lying, I sit down, my ECEs sit down with me, and my students run the class. I'm like, okay guys, can you do a dance session for us? Rebecca, okay, thank you, sweetheart. Awesome dance moves. She says, be still, everybody is still, and she does her dance lessons, and she knows how to lead. She's 4 and 5. First day of school, my kids are sitting in front of me. I don't even come in, they're ready. We're ready for you, Miss Dawn. They don't even have to say that. They're like this. I come in, it's like, oh, my master class, you guys are amazing. The brand new kids that are just coming off the street, they watch the older ones that have been with me for a year, and they just follow suit because it's like, I don't do any heavy lifting. The first year was my heavy lifting. After that, because I had to figure this out. Nobody came and shared with me their tips and tools. But now, I went into a class, brand new school. It was like master class. I had 50 minutes. They were like, you're the best teacher in the whole world. And then it just went to chaos. I was like, they were hanging from the walls all over. But while I was there with them, the teacher was in tears. She was like, I've never seen my children. They couldn't sit. She told me, they can't sit still for 1 minute. They sat still for more than 50 minutes. They sat still for an hour and 10 minutes. When I was done, they were like, I was almost a little bit like shy and embarrassed because they were like, you're so amazing, Miss Dawn. You're the best teacher. And I was like, thank you. You guys are amazing students. But because children like calm. They like to feel good about themselves. They like to see that their classmates can do this. So these are the fundamentals, friends.
Can I inject one thing?
Absolutely.
So if you notice, all of her fundamentals are not things you can see. Right? And if we can get that, you know, I love the quote that Mr. Rogers used to have in his office was, what is most essential is invisible to the eye. Who we are is energy. Who we truly are, our dreams, our desires, our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions are all invisible. So what she's bringing in school, we're working with the physical, but we're actually energy. So the fundamentals are actually invisible. Who we truly are, what's important about us, is invisible. And yet we've totally missed it.
Yeah.
And we focus on the physical.
Brilliant. See this dynamic? Because we both have so much to share, but we have two different things coming out of us that imparts on you guys too. And when you guys start to share and do a teach and tell. So what I'm gonna get you to do is I'm gonna get you to face one another and tell if you think there's a value we missed, a virtue or a value that we missed. That
And you have it written so that we could see.
Yeah, they're right here. So we can
Okay.
do that.
And
So
it's on the board, but it's little.
yeah.
So
they're there, but if you want to, so just something that maybe you didn't hear, and then just do a teach and tell. So now you're getting them.
Okay.
We're getting you.
Well, can
to,
you just read them again?
Yeah. So empathy, respect, curiosity, creativity, confidence, inclusivity, resilience, responsibility, cooperation, mindfulness, gratitude. Oh, and the last one I forgot, joy. We need joy because joy is the highest vibration. You know, frequency, flow, and fun. Those things are the highest vibration. When we're in fun, we lose our sense of time and everything is just fun. Why can't school be fun? Why does it have to feel hard? Why do we start to hate school? Children are inquisitive learners from the beginning. We should be loving it. When you go to camp, do you hate camp? Maggie Monkey thought, I love camp. Why can't school, animal school, feel more like camp? So she started to think, I'm gonna make my own school. And that was her vision, fun and joy. So, and think about money, things that are most important to you for fun are free, right? You can go find, swimming is for free. Friends is for free. All these things is free. So again, great connection, Christy. So do a parent share with somebody. You can be a group of 3 or 2, and then we'll give you maybe just 1 minute each to share. So if you're the speaker, just say, I'll go first. You're the listener, the other person.
And so would you say what you think is missing or
Let's
what
see.
you like the best?
Oh, you can do both. Whatever the conversation, what you like or what you think is important. And try to choose a different friend so you're getting to know different people. Okay, so find a friend.
All right.
I love
Yeah. So good. And then once again, families like a big part, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, children are your physical people in your family, your family. I would think what is last week's family?
Right. Right, yeah. Yeah. Our teachers involved in every single bit of each other. How is it gonna help us my relationships? And I can learn where I can protect this friend, kind of gives another. Yeah, we talk about the differences of multifamily and family. Right. Yeah, mom, dad, grandparents, somebody. Yeah, right. So they're all just want to make sure you're fresh and how they feel, you know, how they feel. I'm really close to my family, so that's kind of relate. Yeah.
So I can't address
Okay, 10 seconds left. We're gonna wrap up. one hears it, then 3, then 5, and it starts to get quieter, and I don't have to say a word, because eventually the silence, if somebody's not, they get there. So I'm gonna introduce you to my favorite little character, Maggie Monkey.
Wait, before we do that, can
Yes.
anybody just share?
Oh, yes, well,
Yeah.
perfect. See, again, she's on top of things. All right, go ahead. Wanna lead?
Okay, did you wanna, what we were talking about?
I was just saying that I like at the beginning of the first day of school to tell my little ones that this is our classroom family and kind of to relate it to a home family. So then they start caring about each other right off the bat.
I love that language.
And that they can kind of relate, well, if you're a family at home, you care for your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, baby, you can care the same way for your friends here at school. And I kind of just talk about it throughout the year, so that when like arguments or any kind of thing that may come up, you know, kind of bring it back in and say, you know, this is your family, we wanna treat them with respect. And then it's something that everyone has a family, even if it's just one person in their family, that cares about them, brings them to school, you know. And so I just feel like it's a good connection for them and an easier way to connect when they think about family.
I love that. See, you just got her words of wisdom and her experience now to the table because we're sharing. So I would support you with beaver boundaries. So what beaver represents in our animal school language is creating a safe space. So when you say we're a family, and so therefore when you come into this room, we enter with a peaceful, happy, loving, and respectful heart so that everybody feels safe in this family. I say, you know, I might feel angry, but when I walk through that door, I manage and understand my anger. I might do some jumping jacks to where I might have tools, but when I come in, I don't project that anger onto you guys. I have to learn to control it. We're also giving them a skill set to be in society, right? So if they don't know how to control that anger, what's gonna happen to them? So we'll do maybe one more share. So Sylvia's on a time schedule. Love it. Anybody else wanna share? That was beautiful.
Something else that can be added to the bucket?
We were thinking about how a lot of times there is a focus on lack or things that are negative, so a positive attitude, highlighting the good instead of highlighting the be quiet, sit down, bad grades, but celebrating the positive things with sincerity and care. Those were some of the things that we talked about.
That is one thing. So how I start off is the star in me sees the star in all of you, and the hero in me sees the hero in you. We are master students and master teachers. I'm a master student when you're the master teacher, and I respect and honor you. And when I'm the master teacher, you respect me. So I have that language. Oh no, sorry friends, you're a master and you know how to make a better choice. So I always speak to them in their strengths. I always focus on the child who's doing something right versus focusing on the child that's doing something wrong. And this is again why I love that you already have that language, and that's why we're all gathering here. So beautiful share. That is the hero. So I'm gonna introduce to you Maggie Monkey. And I love Maggie because this little monkey is like, my kids go gaga over her. Like I make her seem so real. And I'm like, old friends, Maggie is very shy a little bit. She's not shy when she gets to know you, friends, but at first she's very shy, aren't you, Maggie? And she'll be like, yes. So I'm like, okay, it's okay. You know what? This is a safe space, Maggie, and everybody's here to welcome you and show you how awesome you are because you are amazing. And does anybody want to guess what Maggie Monkey's superpower is? Because she's really good at a lot of things, but there's one thing she's amazing at, right, Maggie? Right? So anybody want to take a guess what a monkey's superpower is? Oh, movement, yes, and Maggie, right, she had a hard time stilling her body. Because she's a monkey, she loves to swing through the branches, so kindergarten class was really hard, wasn't it, Maggie? How many of us have a hard time sitting still? But it's still important, right, Maggie? Because what happened is when she learned silence and stillness, she was able to access her star power, and she could shine brightly, and she could become a teacher. And she also was safety smart, because when she couldn't calm her body, it wasn't safe for her or her friends. So we love that Maggie has learned that superpower, but she's awesome at both now. Mindfulness, meditation, and music and movement. She's a little dancer, very good at dancing. Okay, so that's the story of Maggie and how I introduced Maggie into the classroom. Even for adults, it's fun. We're going to come back. I'm gonna share with you kind of of the scene, and I've got one story, and then we're passing it over to Christine. So we'll transition. Again, if you want to grab a drink, I want to be all three of my kindergarten classes, bring them in the gym. I ring that bell because they all have been influenced by the bell. In 2 seconds, I have a class of 68 students silent in 2 seconds, and I didn't use my voice. I'm like, people are like, are you like a magician? I'm like, yes. I'm like a child whisperer, so just so you know. And I just strut my little stuff and I don't. I am there. So here's the thing, you've got your rock. So what I do is you're gonna have a heavy rock in your class, and this is a child who felt heavy and cried all the time.
So what you're explaining now is what they can use to make a toolbox.
Right, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that in full, I'm just gonna explain that, and I'm gonna go into the story, and then I will do that when they're doing the compass part.
Okay.
So, I love her, she's like got me on hard, and I need to bring her home with me. So, when a child is crying and they're angry, does that feel heavy? And when they're joyful and happy and excited, does it feel light?
So have a feather.
So if you have a feather or a leaf, right? You don't even go outside and say to the kids, go find your rock. We'll go for little. Pardon?
What if they throw it at somebody?
But, oh
They
no,
don't- you have
and
to
if you
carry
did,
it
I
back?
say, and actually,
Okay.
my kids don't even. If I see it, or if I hear it, I take it, it's mine. So they have to learn. Part of it is not giving them because you don't have trust with them. Part of it is saying, I'm giving this because I trust you. And the moment I trust all of you, the moment I don't trust you, you lose your opportunities. And that feels what? Heavy, everybody, or light? Right. So trust feels light. So again, go find your rock, and if I hear it, I take it. Same with gym equipment. If I hear it, it's mine. And I am strict. Deeper boundaries, one sound, it's mine. I already forewarned you. I don't give them warnings because I already forewarned them. Now, it's like the next person, I enforce it because they have to trust that I'm good on my word. Because if I let 5 kids do it, then I've got the whole class. And then we're not in fairness and equality. So it's not fair, and then we don't feel safe. Because then you have a rock and you don't feel safe that somebody might not throw it. But in my class, they wouldn't even dare. So they all feel safe. And they don't dare because they're scared of me. They don't dare because they respect me. So there's a difference. I never put fear in them. I'm just very consistent and clear. So and I'm very confident. So that's the difference with these. And you don't have to buy it. Be resourceful. Go find a leaf, a feather, or even like a grass, anything, a petal, right? And then say this feels light, this feels heavy. So they can feel it. And when I had a little girl who was constantly crying, when I helped her understand that, I was like, look at you, every day you feel light like the feather. Oh my goodness. We were celebrating, and for last year she cried every day because she didn't know how to manage or she didn't understand her emotions. So just this simple tool transformed everybody. In my teacher training with our kindergarten masterclass, everybody loved this feather and our rock. It was their favorite things in their toolbox. So that just so you know.
And you have children make their own toolbox.
Pardon?
You have children make their own toolbox.
Yes, they can have their own toolbox, so that can be one of your exercises. And so, what I'm going to get you to do with their energy points too is, so this is another thing that you can put in their toolbox. So, the root energy point is.
And do we need to change this slide, or is it the same slide right now?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this a little later. So this is a little bit later. So we'll do this when we're doing that. So this is just a summary. I'm going to get you to recap. And before we recap, I want you to think, even say out loud, what has been, because I want you to be in a place of grounding and gratitude. What has been your favorite thing so far? So I want you to use the hero mind and think about what you loved, not about what you didn't see or hear yet, because that's the victim and villain. So your hero mind is going to be like, oh, I love this. And when you guys all start to share that, what are we filling the room and even the playground with? What you loved. Not complaining, not criticizing, not judging. We don't want that energy circulating, and it's very easy to go in, well, I didn't get this, and I wished I would have had that. That's your victim and villain. we want to train the brain to be into the hero mind. So right now, what has been your favorite part?
People just raise their
Yeah,
hand.
just
What
raise
is
your
your
hand.
so far?
Favorite part so far? Yeah.
The breathing ball.
Okay, the breathing ball.
That's my favorite too.
Oh, awesome. Anybody else what they're loving so far? Yeah.
The fundamentals.
The fundamentals. Yes, you were like, do we get those? Yes, you do. We'll make sure we get them. Anybody else? What is your favorite part so far? Do you like doing the pictures with the hero capes?
I like how you did the fundamentals with using the visual, because I might forget the piece of paper if you read it, but I won't forget the rice and the rocks.
Right, okay, so all those manipulatives. Okay, perfect. So there again, as we start to bring this into the air and
Can I share
energy, yeah.
I love the hero, the victim, and the villain, because I feel like even personally, I can look at even myself, where am I being a hero for myself today, and where am I being a villain, right? Or where am I being a victim, even in my own conversation in my head.
Yeah,
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect, guys. So that's exactly it. So we went into, I'm gonna do a recap. We went into the story of Tiger Lily. The vision and mission is healthy people equal a healthy planet, right? So that's the big idea, the vision and the mission. We heard about my story, my call to action with my spirit animal. I showed you how Animal School, we're using Maggie Monkey to help the children, very young children, understand these very hard concepts in personal growth and development. And so one of the things I'm going to take you through is how do you change a story? So I'm going to share with you the story of the gingerbread boy. How many of you guys have heard the story of the gingerbread cookie? Okay, well, I've got a different version of the gingerbread. So once upon a time, there was a little old lady, and this little old lady was very, very sad. She had just lost one of her pets on the farm, and she had a conversation with her husband, and he was sharing a lot of sad news, and she was feeling very heavy. So when she started to build her cookie and put her ingredients in, there was a big dose of sadness, of tears, of sorrow, of misery. She felt tired and lonely and bored, and she was just in a really heavy place when she was preparing the ingredients to make her gingerbread boy. And then what happened is when she pulled the gingerbread boy out of the oven, what do you think happened? All that energy she had put into the bowl, put into the energy, is she got a little gingerbread boy that was very miserable. It was very sad and very kind of, I don't like it here. He was very nervous, and so he ran away. And we know what happens to him. He meets all the different animals and he gets eaten by the fox. So the next time, she was like even more sad because her gingerbread boy had left. So she's like, I'm gonna make a new batch. But this day, the little old lady came and she was very scared. She was scared that what's gonna happen to this gingerbread boy happened the last time. So her fear, her anxiety was going into this batch, and she's putting all the ingredients with the eggs and the flour and all the water and all these things in the salt, but there was so much scared feelings and fear inside of this batch. So she pops them in the oven, and guess what happens? The gingerbread boy pops out, and he's scared of the little old lady and the little old man, so he goes running as fast as he can down the hill, and he's running and running and running. And of course, we know what happens to him. He meets the cow and the pig and the horse, and then he ends up being eaten by the fox. And so what she thought about, felt about, came about, right? Her thoughts, her feelings brought about the same result. So now she goes into the kitchen and she's mad. She's like, this is my third time I have made this cookie and my gingerbread boy just keeps running away. So she goes and she puts her anger and she's like putting all the ingredients. And what happens, right? She puts him in the oven and he comes out. He's an angry little gingerbread boy. He is stomping, and I don't like it here, and I don't like you, and he goes running down the pathway, and he's yelling and angry at the cow, and the horse, and the chickens, and they're all angry at him, and then he's mocking me, right? He's picking on the fox, and then sure enough, the fox eats him up. So, the poor little lady, she sits down. She has a cup of tea with her husband. They're rocking out on their porch. And they are sitting there. And, he's talking about all the good things. Like, you know what? Yes, we don't have children. but look at you, you're an amazing baker. And look at our farm, and look at our animals, and we have chickens that we can make these eggs. And all of a sudden, her heart starts to, grow and expand. And she's like, wow, I feel really good. You know what? I don't care. I'm gonna make as many gingerbread, children as I want. And she puts her hand on her heart. She goes, I don't want just a gingerbread boy this time. I really wanted a little girl. And you know what? Because I'm the baker, I can make anything I want. So she starts to put the ingredients with love, right? So she's in the green zone, happy and relaxed and hopeful, and she's peaceful because what we put into something, right, we get back out. So peace begins with me. So if we want a peaceful learning environment, that starts with our energy. That starts with how we feel, how we show up. So we bring that energy, or we bring the calm, or we bring the chaos, because we are the anchor, right? We anchor the room, we anchor the children, we anchor the family, we anchor, right? When you're the leader, that's what you do. So as she starts to put these ingredients, I want a little bit of love, and a little bit of joy, oh, and I want surprise, and a little bit of magic. We need some magic. And she just started to have fun, and dancing, and moving around the kitchen. She turned on her music, and she was just in the most beautiful place. And what comes out is the most magical, little whimsical, little beautiful gingerbread girl. And she never ran off. She lived happily ever after with a little old man and a little old lady, and they managed the farm. And they had what kind of a farm, Christy?
What type of farm? A magical farm.
Right, but what kind of?
Regenerative.
Of course! Here's your cue! Regenerative farm, right? And they were very mindful. And they started to teach, and she became a little young entrepreneur, Miss Sylvia. And she was teaching and preaching and put booklets together, and they were selling their eggs, and they had a little vegetable stand outside, and they did lemonade stands, and they were making money. So this is what ended up happening in my gingerbread story. So you can see where I'm saying we get to rewrite the story. And what did I do? I rewrote the story talking to you about the 4 energy zones, right? The 4 emotion zones. We've got sad, scared and sick and angry, and then we have the green zone, which means we're ready to go. So I can say, I use the traffic light, red, stop. Is this going to make me feel better, worse, or the same? Yellow, pause, right? And then green means go. We're good to go. So you can do anything like that and helping children understand and manage their emotions. So if I'm angry, I'm not going to come through that door. If I'm sick, I'm not going to come to school. I'm going to call a sick day in. So when I come in, what zone do we all wish each other to be? The green zone. So now we're helping children create a safe space, a healthy space, and we're helping them to manage their emotions. So if they're not ready to come into the classroom, I'll say to them, maybe we need to have a talk, right? And you see that when they pick their stone. Well, maybe I need to help that child. And we're gonna go and we're gonna have maybe a quiet area where they can sit and ground, and you can support them. And maybe you need a little rest, right? So you're compassionate, you're empathetic, you're understanding their needs and wants. So now you don't have to get mad at them, right? Because they're just little, they're just starting to understand this stuff. So this is a strategy. And then what I've done here, and you guys get these as well in your package. So there's ready to learn, and she's in the nice light green zone. But blue doesn't just necessarily mean sad. So blue can mean ready to face challenges. Red can mean ready to make a difference. And yellow can mean ready for fun and adventure. So this is like high vibrational bright colors, and these are low vibrational, maybe darker colors.
So what you're saying is you can be any of those colors in a high vibration.
Right.
And you can also be in those colors in a low vibration.
Exactly. So green
determining internally, where are you?
Right.
Okay.
So green might be greedy and envious in the dark green.
Right.
So again, this is the feather colors, and this is the what?
Right.
The rock colors.
And it goes back to nothing's right or wrong.
Right.
Right? It's just noticing where am I, knowing that all emotions are, we're going to experience all the emotions, but we're not making like green the good color and red the bad color.
I just put it in there as an example.
We're just realizing that there's different ways to express those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and the traffic light helps you, like, okay, green means go, red means stop. So we're gonna respond, not react in our victim or villain, and we're gonna respond in our hero. So what's our hero? What is a hero? What is my hero think like is growth mindset. Feel like, right? Feels light and feels kind and compassionate and generous. And my hero gut. It feels healthy, right? So I have a healthy body. When you think of a hero, they have a healthy growth mindset, a beautiful heart, and they have a healthy body. So as I step more and more into my hero, I'm not judging myself where I am on the journey. I'm in awareness. Because sometimes you might be in the low of the journey, and sometimes you're going to be in the high. And it's all good. It's just awareness. It's no judgment. I'm not judging you or others.
And think about that, you know, I mean, when you were a child, did you have somebody that could help you process your emotions? That could hold a safe space for you? You know, most of us, our parents or our teachers didn't have those tools, right? And so we're not blaming, we're just realizing the tools haven't been taught. And what we're learning is that we have the tools that we can start playing with and bringing in, you know, to transform, right? Education, you know, people will, when they know better, they do better. But a lot of times people haven't had the tools. So when we think about our own journeys and our own teachers, we need to be really compassionate, and they did the best that they could. And so we can learn from that, and then we can bring in what we're bringing in now.
Awesome. So we're going to transition together. So Christy, if you wouldn't mind, if you could hold these energy points,
Okay.
I'll read them, and we're all going to stand up, and then it's going to be Christy's on the floor. So you can see I'm always going from sitting to standing to storytelling. We're trying to get as much done as we can. So you're going to, the first one is you're going to put your hand on the base,
Okay.
and that
And doing
colors
red?
that, red, and you're going to say this statement.
So I'm just gonna, do I put this here?
Yeah, and you're going to put your hand here, and you're going to say, I am peaceful.
I am peaceful.
So that's an I am statement. Next, you're going to move up.
Is that yellow or
Yellow.
is that
Yeah,
this one?
yellow.
Okay,
That
so
one, yeah.
yellow.
And that one is I,
So right under your belly button.
right under your belly button, you're going to say, I feel happy.
I feel happy.
The next one is you're going to go up. So that is this one.
Okay. Solar plexus?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're going to do, I do my best.
I will do my best.
Then you go up to the heart, which is green. And you're going to say, I love myself.
I love myself.
You go up to your throat, is the blue. Yeah. And you're going to say, I speak kindly.
I speak kindly.
And you're going to go up to this point, energy point. Yeah. And then you're going to say, I see beauty.
I see beauty.
And you're going to put your hand on your top. Yeah. And you're going to say, I understand energy.
I understand energy.
And if you don't understand energy yet, you will by the time Christy's done with you. So that's the end of my presentation, everybody.
And so you can use that as a grounding practice, right? You're really connecting with each chakra that they have or energy center within their body. And so you'll get a copy of that as well too.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, awesome.
So
So,
Christy's up.
awesome, this is so fun. So I feel like we have luckily been moving around the room, but would you like to do a little bit of movement? Right, so I'm gonna invite you to stand up, find a space where you can move a little bit, and how are we with time, Sylvia, just so I don't do too much on movement?
Yeah, we're just gonna save some time for the compass card, so it can be at like.
25 minutes?
Do we have about 25, so I have about 25 minutes?
Yeah.
Or we have 25 minutes
Yeah,
now?
25 minutes would be great.
For me.
For just
Okay,
you,
cool,
yeah.
I just wanna gauge where we are time-wise, because I can talk a lot. Okay, so find some space so that you can move your arms and your body freely. If you wanna take off your shoes, you can. Just make sure you have space. If you wanna go to stick, you can too. You can find space up here. Okay, so I'm a big advocate of moving our bodies and knowing that we hold so much in our body that we wanna move to help balance our energy, right? We're gonna dive into our conversation of energy in a minute, but we're gonna move first. So what I'm gonna take you through are some of my favorite exercises to just help balance our energy flow in our body. So the first thing I want to teach you to do is to feel your energy. So I'm going to invite you to rub your hands together. Make them hot. Are they getting warmer? So kind of like you want to feel like your hands are over a campfire. They're nice and warm and toasty. Are we all there? to teach you 4 tapping points that helps your energy flow properly through your body. So you're first gonna come right on your cheekbones right here and tap. You can close your eyes or leave them open, whatever is comfortable, breathing in and out. So what this is doing, this is a meridian point to ground our energy. So just feeling your feet connected to the ground. You could always put in an I am grounded, if you would like to. And then we're gonna come to our next tapping point, which is right under your collarbone right here. So this is actually connected to our kidneys, and it actually makes sure our energy is forward facing. So if I'm gonna have children do one place of tapping, it will be this, because their energy might be going backwards. So before we take a test, before we do anything, I like to do all 4 of these points, but especially this one if we have limited time. So just notice as you're tapping here, is it tender? Does it, just become aware as you're doing this, what spots feel best to you. And then the next spot, we're gonna come right here to our heart center. So our thymus, right? So this is our Tarzan point. So you can tap with your fingertips. With the students, a lot of times we talk about Tarzan. What does Tarzan do before he swings on a vine? Right? He beats his chest and goes, ah.
Or Maggie Monkey.
Or Maggie Monkey, right? So we can also compare it to Maggie Monkey. But this point right here is our life energy point in Chinese medicine. So this is helping us to bring our life force energy into our body. A lot of times if you see speakers, like Dr. Zach Bush, before he gets up and speaks, he's right here, bringing in that life force energy. So we can do this anytime we want to, feel confident within ourselves, and increase our energy. The next place is gonna go right on our ribs right here, so you can just go flat hands right here. This point is helping us digest our food and our emotions. So these 4 tapping points come from a lady named Donna Eden, and so she recommends doing these like every day throughout the day to just balance our energy. And what I have found with students is they will do this when they're feeling anxious. They'll just sit in the classroom and they'll walk themselves through it, because you can do it very quietly without anybody knowing what you're doing. And then just go ahead and stop. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Take a breath in. And out. Just one more breath in. And out. And just become aware of what you're noticing in your body. Anybody feeling a little bit more relaxed? Can you feel any more energy flowing in your body just from tapping those points? Awesome. So now let's wake up a little energy within our body. So step with your feet shoulder width apart and just sway your arms side to side. And just let your arms swing. It's more like you're moving your core and your arms are just following along. So what this is doing is waking up the energy in our spine. Our spine makes our blood and really helps to get our oxygen to our brain. So this is the Tai Chi movement that Tai Chi, people that practice Tai Chi will do this 5 minutes a day just to keep their spine healthy. So these are very simple movements. They're calming, but they're also starting to balance our energy flow and open up our energy flow through our body. So being mindful of time, we're just gonna do a short amount of time. Let's do a couple more and notice how it feels in your body. Does that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know, I could just stay.
Reminds me of a trampoline too, right? If you have.
Yeah. So the next one we're gonna do is one of my favorite ones. It's another Tai Chi exercise. I call it the throwing away exercise. So if there's anything that irritated you in this last week, right, that you feel like you just wanna let go of, or this morning, right, you just wanna bring your arms up and take a breath in and just throw it away. And throw it away, and throw it away. So this is also good for moving your lymphatic fluid and detoxing your body. It's recommended 5 minutes a day, but whatever amount of time you want to do. So with children, when they start realizing that there's things they can physically do to let go of their emotions, this tends to be one of their favorites. I was working with a first grade class, and this one little first grader was so upset, and his teacher said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, I'm going to throw it away. So when we give them tools, they actually use them. They figure out what tool works best for them in this situation.
And that's where you can say, this is when you throw it away, not the rocks. Safety smart.
So let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one. Anything you're still holding on to, make it good. 1, 2, 3, and throw it away. Doesn't that feel good? And so I recommend just doing that at the end of our day, letting go of your day. You walk out the classroom, right? I've ended my day, now I get to go home and I've left it here. So our next one we're gonna do is a great one for children in general. So we can either do it, I call it longevity walking or stomping, but stomping is so good for children to release emotion from their body. So I'm just gonna invite you to bring out your inner child and just stomp. As hard as you can. On the stage it's fun because it takes, I have no idea.
This is a good one if you're angry, right? You're in your angry villain, and you can just like let it out, let it release, and then throw it out.
Yeah.
Right? Strategy, right? I love this. See?
Then you can stomp in a circle, right? Stomp the other way.
And this is a safe, smart way to let go of our anger.
And then just freeze and feel your feet. What do you notice?
Tingling.
Isn't that cool? You have an energy center at the bottom of your foot that you just started activating by stomping your feet. So, and kids usually get in trouble for stomping their feet, right? So giving them freedom to stomp, and we're all holding emotion in our body that we're not even aware of. So regularly doing these things that just allow them to express themselves in a safe way is not building up and they're not holding it in their bodies, right? So that's one of my favorites, especially when you have floors that you can.
Can I share just something
Yes.
I do every single day with my kids? I do something called listen and move. So we'll do stomping and then freeze. And then we'll do skipping and then freeze. And then we do flying and then freeze. So they learn how to stop and start. Stop and start. So they get really good at that.
When you do it, do you just stop the music yourself?
No, there's actually a YouTube video I can put in the link.
Okay,
It's called
perfect.
Listen and Move. And so I start it every single day while they're tidying up. I say listen and move. And then as you're doing that, we're cleaning up the environment. So then they're ready
Awesome.
for masterclass.
Awesome. I love it. So yeah, you will be getting these links, right? So you don't have to search them on your own. Okay, how are you guys feeling? Awesome. Can we do one more?
Yeah.
So I want to teach you one more. Some of you already know this, but another one of my favorite movements that I teach little guys up to the older ones is Dr. Bush's 4-minute workout. Anybody done it before? Have you done it? Christine, you've done it probably.
No,
Maybe
I
you
haven't.
haven't done it either? So what's so beautiful about this is our mitochondria are a powerhouse of our cell. This exercise is literally working 16 muscle groups in your body and nourishing your mitochondria, so it's literally bringing light energy into every cell of your body. So we're gonna do 4 movements, and if you need to modify, you can. So once again, just make sure you have space. So our first movement is we're gonna do 10 squats. Then we're gonna do 10 what I call robots. Then we're gonna do 10 circles like that. Sorry, I haven't done this for a while. We're gonna do 10 circles, and then we're gonna be bringing in, we're gonna do 10 celebrations. So then you're like this, 10 celebrations. So are you guys ready? And you will feel it. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 10. So we're gonna start with our squats. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now our robots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now our big circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now 10 celebrations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next set. Ready? What are we doing first? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's next? Robots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's next? Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what's next? Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last set. What's first? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And last.
Celebration.
Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Awesome job. What do you feel in your body?
Sore.
If your arms are sore, that means that you've just released nitric oxide that builds muscles and is good for your brain. This exercise is designed for middle-aged women who weren't getting results at the gym to do 3 times a day. But it is literally nourishing our mitochondria, which is helping with our overall health and well-being. They're the powerhouse of our cell. So for little kids, I just have them do 5. We do 3 sets of 5, and then as they build up, they do 10, and they love the celebrations, right? So they're doing something that's a really quick, easy brain break that will refocus them so you can keep on doing and learning and playing.
Can I just add in there? I love that. Why do you think we chose Maggie Monkey for me and for Christy? What did you notice?
Energetic and you have to move.
Move, right? So
Yeah.
this is showing you the balance of both, and we thought never talk together. We teach separately, but what's one character that could bring both of our presentations, our energy together, teaches about mindfulness, right, and
Yeah.
movement. So and this is a perfect example.
And so go ahead, and I'm going to invite you to take a seat again. And so with children, we can make it more playful of bringing Maggie Monkey in. That's movement time with Maggie Monkey. And so that's an opportunity just to make it a little bit more fun with kids. You're the master operator of that.
And helping our hero body, right? So
Yes.
it's not just for the kids with Maggie Monkey, but it's our hero body, because as we get healthy and strong, as she just shared with us, is helping us get healthy.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And so I'm just going to invite you, right where you are, just put one hand on your heart again, one hand on your gut. Take 3 breaths in and just notice what you feel inside right now. Just kind of becoming aware of what is your energy level. Do you feel energized? Do you feel tired? What are you aware of? Just taking a couple breaths. You might notice your heart's beating a little faster, right? And when you're ready to open your eyes, go ahead and open your eyes. Anybody want to share what they're just kind of noticing and experiencing within their body? Yes.
I feel like very unclogged.
Okay, so just kind of open. Yeah. So do you feel like your energy's flowing? Right? Awesome. Anyone else?
I'm feeling deep gratitude.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I just say, I'm feeling ready to listen and learn, because
Yeah.
my body feels calm, and I'm ready to hear
Yeah.
what the next lesson.
So what I just walked you through is what I go into classrooms and teach about 20 minutes of movement. And this is a key practice that I teach teachers to walk through. And they can modify it however they want to help their children start the day, or when they need a break, using these movements so that they're ready to learn, right? And you'll get a video with these movements as well too. Okay, so can we go to our next? Then what we did is we just did a simple check-in. What am I noticing inside? Do we have a thumbs up? Are we ready to keep learning and playing?
And you can use your tools. Do I feel light right now, or do I feel heavy?
Yeah,
Right? So
absolutely. Okay, and so, one of the things that I have found so fascinating for myself, I would say, just a little story about me is that my middle daughter, when she was 10, started having major digestive issues. And anytime she ate, she would curl over in pain, and she missed 3 months of school, right? I took her to a gastrointestinal specialist for children, and he wanted to put her on antidepressants at 10 years old, and then, put her on anesthesia, under anesthesia, and scope her and see if she had an ulcer. And I went, no way, and I won't use that word, but no way. We're not gonna do that. And so I was lucky to meet a woman that taught me how to help heal her body naturally through food. What she didn't teach me was how to manage stress, right? So my journey really started with, how do I help my child? And then realize that all of her friends high-performing, awesome kids dealing with anxiety, depression, digestive issues. And so it's like, what is going on with our children? So it really put me on a journey of not only how do I help my child, but how do I help other children as well too, and why are so many children sick? That's where I was introduced to the work of Dr. Zach Bush, and he started talking about how right now we're at, because of what we've done to the soil, we are seeing, right, I'll give you a little history. 1940s, we started using antibiotics. 1960s, we started spraying our fields. 1980s, we started using Roundup that has glyphosate in it, and that breaks apart the gut and the brain lining. By the 1990s, we had GMO Roundup-ready foods, and then we started spraying our wheat with Roundup before it was harvested. We started seeing autism off the charts, cancer off the charts, autoimmune off the charts. And so, he said what we're seeing is we have poisoned the land and our food, and so our children being born into this time have more conditions, right? They have more digestive issues, and so the way we solve that is we reconnect to each other and we heal the land, right? And so I started coming into schools teaching them about how to eat healthier and make healthy food choices and get kids loving vegetables. And from there, I realized as I was in the classroom, yes, eating healthy is super important, but the stress level of the teachers was off the charts, right? The kids were having a hard time focusing. And so I started sneaking in mindfulness. I didn't have permission, but I couldn't even say the word mindfulness in Glendora 15 years ago. I mean, that's how I sure as heck couldn't say yoga, right? I mean, I had to be so careful, but I just started teaching them movements like this that started to calm their body before we learned about nutrition. And so for me, that passion of being able to give kids tools to manage their health is key. And then after the pandemic, I wasn't able to teach nutrition anymore, so I started bringing in more of the movements into the classroom. But it really changed for me when I met, through Dr. Bush, I met this amazing quantum physicist who actually re-engineered water. And I got to work under his guidance, and he said, Christy, our natural state is wellness. If we're not feeling well, there's an interruption in our energy field. I didn't know anything about energy. When you guys were kids, did you know anything about energy? I didn't realize that we are all energy, right? Every flower, every tree, the chairs we're sitting on, everything is energy, right? We're literally 99.9% empty space. But we're not taught that. What are our foundations? They're all energy.
And
right?
light attracts light. So if you're in a high light, high frequency, you attract high light frequency vibrations and experiences. If you're in your low, you attract low. So when you're aware of that, knowledge is power.
Yeah, and so when I started realizing that, oh my gosh, I had a private health coaching practice, teaching people how to eat and how to move, but I realized that every condition that they have is energy based, right? So if I actually start teaching them about their energy and they become aware of their energy, now in our energy field is our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, right? Our dreams, our desires, our traumas. They're all held within our energy field. So when we start processing our emotions, guess what? We're clearing out that old negative energy, and we're actually restoring energy back to our chakra system within our body. And that's what we can do when we, people are doing some of their inner work. They're realizing oh, this is an old belief I told myself. It's not even true, right? So we all have this amazing energy field. And Maggie Monkey, she realized that when she was in the classroom and she was grounded and she felt good, her students responded better. She felt like when she had challenges, she could handle those challenges, right? But she also noticed that when she was having something going on in her family and that she wasn't grounded herself, or she was kind of frustrated or angry when she walked in the classroom, she would snap at the children. She wasn't able to handle the things as well as she would when she was grounded. And she noticed that the students kind of picked up on that too. And so she went to Starfish, right, who is our expert at learning our star power and listening inside, and said, Starfish, can you help me understand what is going on in my classroom? And Starfish said, it's amazing, Maggie, that, let's see if I can reach through here, we all have an energy field. Let's see if I can, there's a magic way to smash this down. I gotta go this way. There we go. That if you can imagine, right, if you put your arms out, right, you have an energy field or a bubble around you that's about 8 feet out, right? that holds, as I said, all of our emotions, our thoughts, our dreams, our desires, what's mostly who we are that we can't see. And so when we start realizing that we have this energy field, first we want to feel good in our energy field, but do we want other people to feel good in our energy field too? Right? So when you focus on something you love, so I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes, and I want you to think of something that you love to do. And I want you to imagine you're doing that thing. Notice what you feel in your body. You can stay with your eyes closed if you want to, or you can open your eyes, but what are you starting to feel in your body when you think about something you love to do? What do you feel? Yeah. So whatever we're feeling here, right, is literally radiating out into our field and is felt by others. So the more we can realize that we are these beautiful, fabulous, energetic beings, and we start listening inside, which is what Starfish does, is teaching us to listen inside, we can check in and go, wow, I'm feeling really peaceful right now. Or wow, I just had an argument with one of my kids and I'm really feeling unsettled, right? And I need to do something. I either need to go clear the air or I need to get outside and ground. We're starting to really be superheroes inside and listen to what we're feeling inside of ourselves.
Because I just want to say, it's just a thought. We can change a thought in a moment. And when we change our perspective on it, we can reach for a better feeling thought. So that's it. You're just changing it to a lighter, like the feather thought versus this raw, heavy thought.
Right.
Right? So awareness of the two, you can see how we perfectly were in alignment with what we teach and how we could offer this to others.
So children starting to understand, oh my gosh, I have this energy field around me, right? They love it because, starting to get this at a young age, I have this energy field around me. And the more that I become aware of what I'm feeling, helps me, right? So how many of you times have you guys walked in a room and you're around somebody you just love being around and you just want to be next to them, right? You're feeling your energy field, right? And then can you tell when you were a kid and your parents were fighting? You're like, oh, okay, I'm not going in that room, right? So we're using our energy fields whether we know it or not. So our job is to be responsible for our own energy field, right? And what's really cool is that we can't see our energy, but we can actually have a little experiment, do a little experiment so that we can become aware of how our energy flows through our body, right? And so with children, we can make it really fun with the animal characters, but I just want you guys to have an experience yourselves. And so, when some of you might volunteer. Have we done this? Have we done this? Gosh, I'm so excited that we get to do this. Okay, so this does not have an on or off switch, but we get more energy, right? And our energy is flowing through our body. So hold one side, and then what do you think is going to happen when she holds the other side? Any guesses? Let's see. So hold your hands, hold it on this. So yeah, there you go. So what's happening?
They're just going through me?
Yeah.
Coming from one side to the other?
Good energy.
Yeah, she's got, of course Lauren has good energy, right? And so she's turning that on with her own energy. So we might not be able to see our energy, but this is actually showing us that her energy is flowing from one hand to the other and turning on the energy stick. So just like when you turn on a light, you need a complete circuit of energy to turn on the light. So when you turn on the light switch, it's making a circle of energy. She's making her own circle of energy, okay? Okay, so who wants to volunteer next? You stay up here, Lauren, so you're gonna, what else wants? Okay, come on up here. Okay, and so now, Lauren, you hold one side. And remind me your name again. Gabby, and then Gabby hold one side.
Gabby, could you go on the other side?
Sure. Okay, and so why isn't it lighting up, you guys? What do we need?
There's one left.
We need contact. So how can you create a circle?
Solution seekers.
Wow.
So now what's happening? Right? Their energy's flowing through each other. So whether we know it or not, you guys, our energy's flowing through each other all the time. We're just not always holding a light stick. Now, one of you tap on the other one's hand. Tap. Like tap. Like tap. Yeah, so okay, so then, you go. Tap this one.
Using
Isn't that cool? So when realizing they don't understand, they think they're separate. But we're all energy, we're all the same energy, we're actually all connected. This starts helping children understand that we are interconnected to each other. So would you guys like to stand and make a circle? And we can all see if we can light up the energy stick. Okay, who hasn't been holding it yet? Do you two want to do it? So don't hold it yet, because let's everybody hold hands if you're comfortable with that. Right? Okay, Sylvia, you want to be in here? Okay. Okay. Awesome. And so now what's happening? You're the kid. I don't know. Okay, so now one person drop. Oh, okay, so and then tap on her hand. Or on her. Oh wow. Okay, then grab hands. Who else wants to drop? Okay, and then tap. And so just starting to realize that our energy is connected.
And contagious.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I come in angry, you all start to feel my anger. If I come in joyful, you all start to feel the joy of us.
Right.
So it's crazy.
So with the kids, I'll tell them, like, if I got in an argument with my son and I walked in the classroom, what would you guys, what would happen? They're like, I said, who's gonna feel it? They're like, we are. I said, whose job is it for me to take care of my energy? They're like, you are. It's your job, right? And so they start realizing, you can start having conversations about when we're upset with something, owning our own feelings. Like, okay, this person took my toy, right? Okay, what do I feel inside? I'm owning that feeling. And then we talk about, have you ever, like, had somebody be mean to you, right? Anyone been mean to you before? Right? Have you ever been mean to somebody? Yeah. And when you were mean to somebody, were you tired? Were you frustrated?
Hungry?
Did you feel like hungry? Did you feel like they didn't understand, like you weren't understood? Right? So is it possible if when we were mean to people, did we want to be mean to them? No. But we might have been tired, frustrated, we didn't feel like we were heard, right? So is it possible that when someone was mean to us, they were tired, hungry, frustrated, and they didn't know what else to do, right? So they start understanding that we can own our own feelings and that they can take responsibility for their feelings, but having compassion for them, like maybe they were really tired, maybe they didn't know what else to do, right? So it's helping us to move from that victim role, right, into how can we solve this or work through our emotions and our challenges as heroes together.
And another thing, I just want to say that when we keep labeling a child as the good child and the bad child, they have a belief and they just start to continue behaving in that yesterday, and it's here and now. Because that one little girl might look like a little beautiful princess, but at home she's like, ah, right? So, and then the little boy, right, he's always getting labeled, or that little girl is always getting labeled, and then they start to believe that. And so that's how they show up, because now it's a habit and it's a belief. And we are always labeling, and when we label and then they label, that's where the danger comes in, because it becomes a habit of formation.
Even our eyes, the expression in our eyes will label
it.
the other person.
They feel it.
Yeah.
People are like, oh yeah, I'm trying to be nice to this kid. It's like, oh yeah, no they know. Right?
I've had it where I've come in, I'm like, oh, you're my little master, and the teacher just is like, he is not being a master. Like, she is just so rabid with me, because it's like, do not. He has been bad all day long, and I'm like, I am trying to uncondition that thought and pattern. And so when he would see me, I was like, oh, yes, you're my master, because I had a belief about him, and he wanted to show that, because he never got that from anybody else. So it was like I was always trying to catch them in what their strengths were, what they were doing good. So that's really important that you find it. Don't lie. Don't praise them for doing something they're not doing authentic and real, but look for it. And then it's like, oh, you might have to wait 3 months.
Right.
Be
But we're
patient.
never going to help a child by focusing on their weaknesses.
Never.
Right? So if we can help them find those things, just those moments where we can go, wow, I'm so impressed that you did that.
Yeah.
Or that really took courage, or whatever that is, then they're starting to, fulfill that belief in themselves. So I always focus with children, what do you love? Right? Because they'll tell, even if it's video games, oh my gosh, you love video games, how do you feel when you play video games, right? So that they can start creating those feelings inside, so that they understand, oh, when I feel good, so right now it's video games, but where else can we help them develop that?
Connection
Right.
before correction. You wanna connect with the child before you correct them, because then you're building that relationship first, and then they're gonna hear you. Kids that love you, like you, or admire you will listen to you. If they don't like you, you will not be able to learn. You will not be able to teach them anything. They will shut down. So it's a really important lesson.
And one of the things that, if you guys are not familiar with Dr. Gabor Mate yet, I will send some information. But one of the things he says is that a child is always responding to their environment. We don't know the environments these children are walking into in our classrooms. We don't know what their home life is like. And so, and it can change. Maybe there's just something really stressful going on and they just don't know how to manage it. And so I noticed for myself, like when I was a kid, my mom almost died twice before I was 6, and then my sister died when I was 7, so, and then my mom almost died again. So I was labeled as a very nervous child. Well, in my world, I didn't feel safe. I didn't know who was gonna die, right? And so my parents were like, you're so nervous, why do you worry so much? Would you stop doing that, right? Instead of like giving me a hug or helping me feel comfortable, they thought I was the problem, right? The fact was, I just didn't feel safe. And I didn't have an adult, once again, no blame to my parents, they just didn't have those tools to go, wow, why does Christy always feel so nervous? I wonder what's actually going on. Maybe she doesn't feel safe, right? So if we can realize some of these behaviors are coming because the child's environment is they don't feel comfortable, and we can get to the root of that. But it's so often the child is blamed instead of looking at the environment.
And that's
right?
the stone, the big stone in empathy and compassion, right? So when you can understand that and that's there, you're shifting the whole culture of your environment, your learning environment. So again, these things, that's why I'm saying, is that more important, or your erasers all being, purchased? There's the big stones that you're putting in first that are gonna create the culture and the climate. Those rest details, the rice, can come later.
So just from kind of doing this experiment together, what are some takeaways? What are you aware of just for yourself?
Shares? Did you have shares?
Oh, I was gonna say connect, correct, because I do a lot of parenting support, and that's the one thing I always found. Connect it before you correct it, because they tend to yell a lot, and I said, connect and like give them a positive, I love you, or you're so wonderful, or.
And not like I love you and then yell at them.
Right, but connect, they just forget that whole connect part. So
Yeah.
I use that all the time, that's one of the things I tell my.
And so what I see too is, what does a safe space look like? Right? Everything's put away, it has a place. What does it sound like? It sounds please and thank you, kind, right? What does it feel like? Feels good, feels light like the feather. What does it act like? We all help, right? Because that's, and what does it think like, sound like, feel like, act like, think like? What does it think like? You have a hero growth mindset. How is this happening for me, not to me? And instead of thinking about the problem, think about the solution. There's a million solutions for every, I show a coin in the toolkit. For every problem, there's a what? Solution. So are you focused on the problem, or are you looking and talking about the solution? Because you're not gonna be able to find a solution if you're only focused on the problem. So I say I talk 5 minutes on the problem, and then we're all solution seekers, and we're all using our super brains to come up with it. And children don't have a hard time with imagination and invisibility. So energy for them is exciting. It's like magic. For adults, we have a harder time because our mind, we have to see it to believe it. We're children, they believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny. They believe they're born believers. We then tell them lies, and then they no longer believe us. So when we tell them truths like energy and these things, they start to believe us and they trust us. Really important.
Awesome. Okay, time, Sylvia, where are we?
She's got her starfish for us.
Okay, awesome. So we can go backwards,
Yes,
please?
we can.
Do we have time for starfish?
Quickly, starfish is
the battery.
Okay, so timing is just left for our compass practice.
Okay, so
They should have time. It's not very long, and they can do it for here.
Okay, so I just want to introduce you to the understanding of our internal battery, and I'm just going to give it short. But if we can get, like, when we have a cell phone, how does it work? We charge it, right? What happens if it gets low? We charge it, right? So what if we are actually a battery, right? If we are energy, we are like these huge radiant batteries, right? And how often do we check how charged we are? And so we need to realize that we are the most important battery. So this comes from Carolyn May. She talks about that she wished that she could tell every soul before they came into their body that You are a huge unit of power, right? Your power is your energy. And your energy is your direct connection to your soul. So if we started looking at ourselves, right, and go, wow, like I am a huge unit of power, I'm a huge battery. And that battery is my direct connection to my soul, right? How am I honoring my energy? How am I honoring my power? How am I honoring my soul today? Right? That's a whole other conversation when we wake up in the morning and go, what am I going to do to honor my soul today? Right? We might not be able to talk about that in a public classroom, right? But just for you guys to have that understanding yourselves. So when we look at
We can
charging,
talk by it by saying our hero self.
Our hero
So
self, yes.
instead, right, our hero higher self. So that is not the soul, that's a hero. My
Okay.
hero self is my best self.
this is how we're learning to incorporate our stuff together, right?
Because I'm in a Catholic school, I could say that, but for
Mhm.
public school, that's why I use the word hero, because it allowed the language to be taught
Okay.
without having my hands slapped,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So for you, what charges your own battery? Like, we can just have a little conversation. What really nourishes you? And I don't just mean like, okay, yes, we can sleep and we can eat, that's important. But like, what literally honors and nourishes that inner light inside of you? Your real internal battery. Anybody have any things you want to share?
I do sound baths every Friday night.
Sound baths,
I love
yeah.
the music and the vibration and it like clears the week.
Yes, so
It
sound
really
baths,
does. I
right?
did it last
Yeah,
night and
yeah,
I sleep so
yeah.
well and
Anyone else?
I love in the evening when the sun is going down to just water the garden or the flowers and just feel the breeze and look at the hillside and
Connection with
just,
nature.
right.
Right? Just really taking that time to
Tree.
enjoy. Yeah, anyone else?
I walk. I'm
Yeah.
a walker, so that recharges me and just moves, and I just love it. Nature mostly.
Anyone else? Time with friends, family.
Dancing. That's
So I'm gonna invite you to reflect on that, you know, as your hero homework, what really nourishes your battery, and then checking in with yourself, are you doing something daily that nourishes your battery? Before we can walk in a classroom with children, we have to make sure we're nourished and energized so that we can show up for them. Okay? And then as your homework, you can also look at what drains your battery, right? Conflict, right? The news, I don't know, but become aware of what drains your battery. And my invitation for you is to check in with your battery daily so that, or throughout the day, where am I? And the same thing with the children, I'll have them go through like a scale like this, and I'll just have them check, like we'll come in, we'll rub our hands together, right? We'll shake our hands, we'll feel our energy, we'll do our tapping points, hands here. Where's your battery right now, right? And they'll notice it, and then maybe we'll dance, or we'll do the exercises we did, and then we'll check in again and go, okay, where's my battery, right? Am I fully charged, am I in the middle, or am I low, right? So they can start becoming aware of their battery before we're taking a test, right? Where are we? What do we need to do so that we can be in the green before we take this test, right? So that's just another tool that you have in your toolbox. Okay, awesome. So I'm
We
gonna
get to
hand
play
it
now. We get to
Yes.
play, you guys. Okay, we're gonna discover your spirit animal. So you guys can find a spot. You're gonna find your mats, and then you're gonna get to color and design your own compass card. So I'm gonna get you to just find a spot anywhere. But you can take out your journals. You're gonna have a pen.
Is the compass card, a piece of paper? Okay, do you need paper?
Well,
Or
what
do
we'll
you
do, if you wanna hand out their books, so they can do
have-
that.
Okay, if you would like to use a storybook as your desk, you can find a storybook and use that as a hardcover.
Yeah,
Or
or
just
you
to
could
write
sit
on.
on the mat, and you could lie down on your stomach, and you could design on the
And so
floor.
they need crayons and paper.
Yes, we're gonna get crayons and paper. So now you guys get to play. You've been listening and learning, and now you get to lead with your compass card. And then don't worry about finishing it, because
And then crayons.
you guys can finish them at home. So I'm gonna just get you into a quiet and peaceful place. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and you're just gonna answer them without thinking. I want you guys to just, the first thing that comes to your head. So for example, if I say, name a color, and
what are you gonna, what's the first color you think about?
Red.
Red. So she didn't think about it, it was just red came to her head. Now we all thinking about red, right? But I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you're just going to, we're gonna do 30 seconds to a minute of quiet and stillness. And then I'm gonna ask you these questions, and then you're gonna, you don't have to share your answer, you just have to think it. And you can write it down if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay? So just quiet your mind. When everybody's ready, we'll get still. Just gonna close your eyes when I ring the bell. You're gonna open your eyes and then you're gonna answer the questions. So right now, I'll ring the bell once, and then you're still and quiet with your eyes closed. And when I ring it twice, I'll ask you questions. Okay? One second here. And there is no right or wrong answer, so we're not judging anything. We're just going to write down the first thing that comes to our head. We're not overthinking it. I want it to be instant. Okay? So ready? Everybody close your eyes. First sound of the bell. A color. Just think it or write it. A person. A place. A country. A fruit. A vegetable. An animal. And that's your spirit animal. So, what I want you to do is you're going to think of 3 qualities and attributes that you admire about that animal that you put. You don't have to share it with anybody, just put a list of 10 things that you admire. If you can only think of 3, that's fine, but if you can think of 10, just all, don't overthink it, all the qualities that you admire about that animal. I'll give you 1 more minute. Then you're not overthinking it. Things that you admire about it, as fast as you can.
thing that you admire most about that animal? And pencils down. So we're gonna start. And Christy, can you start and role model? So you're gonna reveal your animal and the one thing that you admire most about that animal.
Okay, so my animal is a fruit bat.
Is a
And
what?
A fruit bat.
Oh.
I love fruit bats. They're
I
so
love
cool. Like Spirulina. Who likes Spirulina?
Yeah, I love
Right?
it.
Like, I always love fruit bats after that book. But what I like is that they can see in the dark.
Oh, I love that, right? So
Yeah.
seeing in those dark places, right? So that's a beautiful quality and attribute. Now, what's one thing that you can connect to seeing in the dark? What's a benefit of that? What do you want to see in the dark places of yourself, maybe even?
Well, I mean, I feel like one of my strengths is that I'm able to bring out the light in somebody, like when they feel like they're in a dark time, right?
Love that.
Yeah.
Right, so you can see how now that spirit animal or that your animal guide is guiding her in those dark places, like in the cave, right, of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, is what do we need to see? Where do we have to go? Sometimes we have to go into those uncomfortable dark places to bring them into the light and realize they're not that scary after all.
Yeah.
So look at what
And to realize we always have to deal with our dark to get to the light,
to get to
right?
the light. So we just learned wisdom from that animal guide. Is that? Let's just do a little honor in that animal, and that's beautiful. Who's next? Who wants to just share the animal that they chose from?
I just like birds in general,
Yeah,
not a
birds.
specific bird.
And what was your one word?
Free.
I love it. Freedom. And imagine if you started to bring that into your life, right? Like how can you be more free where your spirit can feel more free? Like a bird, we're not meant to be caged. You think of animals in captivity, all these things that you can connect with your bird and talk to children and even yourself about. So I want you to think about things that you can connect as that guide and that message. So you don't have to share, we're just gonna go through. And yours?
Mine was a wolf. It was very like pack oriented.
Yeah. And what was your value? Was family oriented? Perfect, I love that. And so one of you guys brought about community and being a family. That's a beautiful connection, right? So you can go deeper into that. Fantastic. We're just gonna go around and let's see what's.
Yeah, I don't know why, it hasn't come to mind.
You don't need to know why. But
What
Panda
was it?
has a message.
Panda.
Okay, Panda has a message for all of us. So what's Panda's reveal? What was your star?
Calm and
Calm to chaos. This is why Panda had to come into the calm to chaos or chaos to calm
yeah. I mean,
workshop.
I think it can be very aggressive, but I feel like typically like they're just kind of lazy,
Playful
calm
and
playful
sweet,
and
yeah.
like kind of free.
And you know the yin and yang, I see the colors of the black and white, the dark and the light, right? So of course Panda had to show up, right? Thank you, Panda. We don't judge it, we just want, like, I wonder why, that sense of curiosity, which is one of the stones.
For me, it's a dinosaur.
Oh, awesome.
It's safe.
I love that. How does safety connect to for you and the dinosaur?
That's been I had discovered that that's my spirit animal for a long time.
I love that.
So I revert to him when I need to hold him,
Oh, I love
or when my dinosaur holds me, or when I just need the presence of like something bigger than me.
Yeah, I love that.
And I feel safe.
And you know what I'm getting here? Story and a stuffy. She just shared her story and her stuffy. And children need that too. You give a stuffy to a child and they can speak. They are up there on their own. They're like, scared. So when I do a story and a stuffy, do a share and tell, it's a teach and tell. That stuffy is helping them to feel safe. And your story just brought that into conversation for all of us. So thank you, dinosaur. All right, next.
I chose an owl.
And what was the word of value that you admire?
Well, I first underlined see, so it sees. Absolutely.
They have wisdom to see all perspectives. An owl, they can turn their head almost 360. So what's this whole thing? The STAR program is about shifting perspectives, seeing things from all angles. So thank you, owl. Right? Do you see how they're all coming to do the last and final gift to all of us and what we're sharing? And imagine if you did this with children. protection. So how are you protecting your own energy space, and how are you protecting the environment space, right? And it's because I love you, because I care about you, right? This is a safe space for everyone. So we've just brought in what? How to face the dark. What was yours?
Oh, mine was to be free.
Freedom, right? The soul, the spirit wants to be free. The hero wants to be free. Yours was family,
Both not being
community.
alone in this life together.
Community. Yours was calm. Yours was safety. Yours was perspective. Yours was protecting our. Do you see how we're remembering it because we're remembering each other's animals? If we wouldn't have had that opportunity, it would have been very difficult to associate.
A dog, and it was like intuitive or honoring myself.
Absolutely. And dogs, one of our biggest, because dogs, what? Love us unconditionally. And if you spell dog backwards, what does it spell, friends? Right? So when a dog loves us no matter what. So dog had to come into the space today because we have to love ourselves unconditionally no matter what. Love and forgiveness. And
Mine was a bobcat, and I like the way the bobcat approaches very carefully at situations.
love it. Right? It doesn't react, it responds. It spends time. What did all these animals do? Is it not a literally review of everything we talked about today? This is crazy, so incredible. So what I want you to do is you're going to get to build your very own compass card. We're going to give you a sample of Maggie Monkeys. You guys can look at them. We only have about, I think, a few minutes to take a look at the sample cards. And then you guys can just make your own with your own spirit, your own animal guides.
So can you kind of walk through? So if there has monkey, so
Yeah.
on your compass card you put your animal, and then the lesson for life.
Wait, can we write it down, or?
Yeah,
or
and you
are
can put on
passing
the other
something
side
out?
if you want to, or.
I actually have a worksheet for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
you have a
got
worksheet?
that
I
you're
do,
gonna
I'm
hand
just
out.
keep on my little white,
Right. I spy.
We need the owl.
Here's what it looks like here. So Maggie Monkey is our what? Our animal guide. Her lesson for life is understanding emotions and energy. Her tools are the energy points, the hero, the star wand, the love, the battery, the mirror, right? And the habit is to check in. So we've been getting you to check in with your emotions and energy. And the tip is balance, right? Be mindful of our energy and mindfulness and movement. It's not one is better than the other. And our action is the 7 energy points. So that's one action, activity you could do with your students or kids. So that's one example of a compass card. The next one was we talked about goose and the community and bee formation. Beaver is safe boundaries. And then starfish is our star power. And those were the tools that we had there that Maggie teaches in animal school. Think it, feel it, do it. Tip, lead with your hero, head, heart, and hands. And action, anchor chart, and toolkit. So you guys will be getting this anchor chart in your package. So there's goose, there's beaver, and there's starfish. And you guys will have that in your packages. And then the last one is you could make your own teaching toolkit, all the things that we showed you about a magnet. So what you think about, feel about, you attract about, your energy stick, your glasses, the battery, all these things you want to start to build your own little toolkit like I have here. Put your little animal in there, put some cards, some stones. You can even put a timer so kids can work in group work. Your rock and your feather. So I want you guys to start using and building your own little teaching toolkit. And then this is where you're going to create yours. And this is what the handout, Sylvia's trying to look and find for you. So you put your animal guide, so you guys would all do your own personal one. You would put bat or polar bear, and then you're going to put your lesson. What's the biggest lesson you wanted to teach? That was the value. So you said family, you said freedom. That's your lesson. What's a habit? So what do you want to do every day to teach about family or talk about family? That's a habit you're going to do. So we did the check-in. So check in your emotion, right? Then your tools, what was actual that you could hold up? Like we showed you, the I am cards are a tool. However you want to use. And then you're gonna put a tip, like a quote for them to remember, and then come up with an activity. We showed you countless of activities that we were doing and enforcing the lesson, the habit, and the tips and the tools. So then you can put your own there, and it's all to help you split into fun and flow. So making the connections, what tools would you include? That's literally the handout, and we obviously can't find
So
it.
just
for-
drawing it for now, but you'll get a copy of the handout when we
Yeah.
email it. Or if we find it today, you'll have a copy soon.
Monkey is being very mischievous.
Yes, we've got monkey
Apparently
energy.
we're
She is
supposed to
hiding
create
things
our
on you
own.
guys. So if you want to just design it, just do a rough copy. You will guys will get. So you could do either Maggie Monkey, right? What you learned today, do a review and recap, or you can turn your paper over and start to do. And I actually have cards. So why don't we give you a card that you can actually create your compass card with. There you go. So this is one I would say leave it as your good copy, and in your journal, make your rough copy. So you can come up with the ideas, your scribbles, notes, and then you guys can make your own. Maybe that's why you guys aren't supposed to get a handout. You're supposed to design your very own special compass card.
That's what I love. Whenever I talk to Tammy, always a perspective.
Right? We didn't lose this. You guys are just supposed to do your custom artwork. No more handouts, because it's so easy to give a child a handout. But let them bring out their artistic side. Let you be your inner child and put a border around it. Design it however you want it. So there's 6 points. Number 1, your animal guide. So number 1, animal guide. Number 2, what's the big lesson? That's the value that you all put a star on. What's the habit to reinforce that lesson? That's 3. What's the tools? So you showed we had stuffies, manipulatives. Christy has her ball, her breathing ball. We have all these
Energy
tools.
stick.
Energy stick. What's your tip? So we give you a quote, right? The hero in me sees the hero in you. That's my tip for being a hero intelligence teacher. And what's your activity or action? We did I am, right? I do, I feel, I think. That was the action. Or Christy showed you lots of actions that you could do. Breathing exercise, movement exercise. So whatever that is you want to do as your group work to reinforce the lesson. And this becomes your balanced, perfectly balanced block. You teach that for 15 minutes. You've got your animal, your lesson, your habit, your tools, your tip, and your activity. And you are supporting multiple intelligences. You're supporting the head, the heart, the body. You can't go wrong. Everything that you need to deliver a successful lesson is in this compass card. And it's fun and it's engaging for all ages.
Anybody have any questions?
So yeah, that's the end of our presentation, guys. And let's just be in gratitude. Let's clap for everybody because your shares. You guys are amazing. Woo! Are you feeling like you're stepping into your hero, your victim, or your villain? Right?
So that you know that what we just showed you can be applied not just in classrooms, but like for myself in business. I do this. My spirit animal is a kangaroo. So what you have in your bag or on your bag is a kangaroo. You can see how it's actually really become part of my life, and that I talk about trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, and my tool is a bag. So that's why I always have bags, little backpacks for people and kids to remember to bring their snacks.
Now that makes so much sense.
Right? And you carry your snacks. So and the lesson for life is like, keep yourself well fueled, choose the right food choices. So that's how I use my compass card, is to teach about, and when I go on stage and I talk to someone or at a meeting, I think about my compass card and I keep it simple, so I'm not giving over too much information, just enough so people actually learn something and can find value. So as you're doing these compass cards, I really truly, would have loved to continue this as a whole day event basically, but of course we can't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send all of you an email to have an invitation into it for you with all the materials, all the videos that they've all both talked about. Really get all those, and if you have questions, just reply back to me. We'll have Tammy or Christy reply back to you with the answer. And also, we're gonna be, actually this is amazing because this is like a back to school season, right? So we're currently actually offering this kindergarten masterclass as a whole 44-week kind of program.
A full year from September to June training where you get Zoom calls, the community groups, all the materials, the lessons, the stories, everything. So if it's something that speaks to your heart and you want to be part of a larger community and take this journey, we'll be able to send you information. We're doing a webinar so we could share that. We're doing a course. So it's really fun, and you guys would be like the first founding educators. We have founding members that we did last year, but this is a more formal and structured, and we're actually partnering with Kidpreneurs on their platform. So you're going to be exposed to Kidpreneur educators, entrepreneurial educators.
Right. So I also work with Kidpreneurs, and so my son, he actually runs Kidpreneurs for a company that's already been around for 14 years. But they've actually come in and work with their educators who teach entrepreneurship. And so another next important step is personal growth and development. So we're bringing in kindergarten masterclass as that important element. And so we basically work with a lot of educators, and we come on calls together once a month. We have like a private community. We have a resource library. We can, anytime you need a lesson, okay, let me just go to my resource library, click here for the video, here's the compass card for this lesson. So our goal is to make it easier for you so you can actually focus on the fundamentals, not having to worry about having everything there at all times, just focusing on your kids, focus on scaffolding them and understanding and building that relationship. So don't be too excited yet. I will send you the information, and that way you can let us know if it's something that we can help you with. But I hope you really I don't even want to leave, but I hope that you connected with your spirit animal, you connect with other educators here, and would love if you have your feedback you would love to give us. If you can also, I will have Alex. Thank you so much for our volunteers today.
Oh, yes.
Alex is a parent, and he took his time out to help. And Chef Bill, as you can see, he's a chef, has taken his time out of his all his culinary work.
Good help, thanks, Chef Bill, good help.
Yeah, he teaches children how to cook as well. He has a catering business, so if you're looking for catering, you need to get his card. He has a lot of connections with a lot of different chefs.
Educate, elevate, empower, right? That's what we're all about, giving children the tips, the tools, and the strategies, how to become their best self, and how to be independent, healthy heroes to help the planet. So remember, that's our final art and message, right?
Exactly. So it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this in-person workshop. Christine, thank you so much, having all of this space and all of you coming in over, and that's what we're all about. So if anything, we just want to connect, stay connected, and if you want to empower others, then share our webinar so that we can know what we're up to. And basically, we wish you a really amazing school year to come, and please share with us your feedback. We'll have Alex kind of standing at the corner over there.
And maybe just share your favorite part.
Yeah,
right? You can talk about your favorite part.
Can you do a little video?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't mind doing a little video and sharing what you love, that would be super
Yeah, we
helpful.
will just
It can be short,
pros here.
like I just love this, and it doesn't have to be heavy or difficult.
Yeah, your feedback is amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Just get your text.
Thank you, guys.
Any questions?
Hope you had fun, that's the whole point, right? Do you want to say something?